Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City Media podcast. Stepping up to the microphones are your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis. Pull up your chair, grab your favorite brew, and enjoy the conversation. Now, let's get to the show.
TJ, what is up? Welcome back. Tigers Untapped a dish. How was your weekend?
It's good, man.
Yeah.
How was yours?
It was solid.
What is
I was on
week 36, episode 36?
Do it all dad duty all week long. Weekend, Thursday through Sunday. It was rough. It was tiring.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on
right now.
I believe it, dude. You sound like you deserved this, honestly.
About time we had another pint in here. Funny story. Got all the way up here. We get up here at the studio about 8:30 as On the Bluff is wrapping up. Usually have a little banter with the fellas after in between shows. Got all the way up here. Had left the brew at home. Had to turn around and go back.
While Trey is decompressing, this is the Bill Street Brewing Memphis All Day Air Day Hazy Indian Pale Ale.
Tastes
Love
a little bit
hazy
like
IPA.
that Germantown diesel water. Goes down good. I'm getting used to it.
Hey, I want to tell y'all something before it comes out. I need y'all to know. Gabe stole y'all's beer out of the refrigerator, and he might have copied y'all's whole beer review in On the Bluff today.
What beer? We didn't have a beer in the fridge.
There was definitely a beer left in there.
Oh, you left that blue. We can't say the name because, well, no, I can't use it.
Wow,
My father-in-law
forgot.
actually drank my version of it.
Well, then it doesn't matter.
So we're good. It's okay, Gabe. We'll let it go.
I just want y'all, I tried to stop him, but Gabe is big, and he scared me a little bit, and he did the whole review, and it was trash. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Well,
He froze up.
If he opens that Frigidaire next week, he might find something else other than a beer in there. Might have to upper decker that bad boy.
Oh, goodness.
Trey. Pull out a little poop sickle. Rate that, Gabe. Don't be touching beer that's not yours. Beer in the fridge is for Tiger Untapped employees only.
I agree.
That is true. I have a sticker in my fridge, and like our beer fridge that says that.
It felt very. Honestly, I think he thought that he was really going to be really good at it, and he just froze. Like,
Can't wait to watch that.
Hey, we can't all do it. You know, it's not for everybody. What can you do? It's on the docket today, man. Let's get back to business.
We have had quite the week,
Yeah.
Tej.
Yeah.
A lot of news coming in. First things first, out of nowhere, Jaykwon Walton.
Out of nowhere is definitely the phrasing. I think there was some heads up. I think there was some heads up that somebody.
It happened very fast.
Yes.
We'll say that. We knew after TFL was leaving that they obviously probably had somebody in mind, but it happened pretty quickly.
I said it was going to. I thought it would be a shooting guard is where I would spend that. He's probably more of like a wing. I think it's probably the safer phrasing for that. But 6'7", an absolute scoring monster. I think it's fair to say. Maybe a scoring monster. A very good scorer. I think
He's productive on the offensive end.
14 and 5. It looks like so.
54% from the field, 40 from that tray ball. The kid can knock it down at a high club.
I mean, I think it's definitely what the Tigers are needing.
And that's on almost 4 attempts a game.
Yeah.
3.8. So it's not like this is a limited sample size.
You know when Rothstein came out and made that egregious statement of David Jones, and I had such a fight about it.
Oh, I remember.
Had he come out and said, "Oh, Jaykwon Walton is joining the Tigers," that's a potential 6th man of the year for the conference. I'd be like, yeah, that actually makes perfect sense. That's one that makes wonderful sense.
What if he had said Jaykwon was potential all AAC?
No. Okay. He's not even going to start. More than likely. I assume he will not start.
Maybe. Who's starting over him?
David Jones.
He's not here. In fact, he's the only one not here so far.
Hey, shout out to that.
Fact 2, he may be a competitor this week in the Dominican. Those are the rumors flying around that he's going to be suiting up from the Dominican team.
He is from the DR, so that would make sense. I don't know. The national team?
I don't know if it's the national or the select, but either way, he's an opponent potentially this week.
Hey, that's I like that though, because I think that you're getting to see him. Nothing against St. John's. I think that he wasn't on the best of roster.
Didn't you have St. John's ranked ahead of us in realignment talk?
No.
Oh, must have been somebody else.
I think that he was on a roster that perhaps wasn't the most talented, and he was kind of a do-it-all guy, kind of like that point forward. I mean, I think he's like 6'6", playing power forward for the most part. But he was also their DeAndre. Like, he was asked to facilitate, score, defend, literally do everything. So you put him on a roster surrounded by, is Duarte on there? Is he still playing, or is he?
I don't know. I know we have gotten confirmation that Lester is in fact playing.
Hey.
I think his dad had said last week he probably wasn't, but he is.
My whole thing is I think if you surround him with more talent, I think it gives a better indication of what he could be for this Memphis team, because he's going to be swarmed in talent when he's in the blue. So I'm looking forward to it. He's not here just yet, and I'm not sure what the holdup
I think
is.
some of those teachers, man, are just, what are you trying to prove?
You think it's like summer classes. Like, no one wants to be there. You don't want to be there.
If
Like,
he's
you can love
showing
your
up
job,
and
but you
doing
don't
the
want
work,
to be there.
let the kid, he's putting in the work.
Dude,
Sign off on it.
cross the T's, dot
Some
the
kind of
I's.
hold
Let
up
him-
with
let
the
him go.
transcripts or something. We got a stubborn teacher. Let the kid ball.
It's as simple as that. Maybe it's something like parking tickets.
TJ knows about that.
I do feel on that one.
Gosh, what if it was that?
Someone else is here. I don't think we've talked about this. Jordan Brown.
Jordan is here. We've got a full 12-man roster. We last week or 2 weeks ago when we talked about this, we were like, we got 7 guys
7 or 8
going to the
guys,
DR.
yeah.
This may be a bad time.
We were prepared for Noah Stansberry
We got
to have significant minutes in the Dominican.
We got basically a full squad.
Little Slick was about to be the starting guard.
Lil Slick, I like
Lil
that.
Slick. JT Pittner actually came up with that. I can't take it from him.
He needs to change his X handle to Lil Slick. I don't know what it is. X is so dumb. It officially changed
Just say
today on
Twitter.
all of my stuff.
So we've talked about Jaykwon is here. Jordan Brown is here.
You know what time it is? Is it too early for some sausage?
Let's see. No, it's sausage 30. I think you're right.
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Do you know where we stand with just the addition of Jaykwon?
No, I like to erase it and rethink about it every week.
Okay, give me a guess.
What were we without him? Do you remember off the top of your
I
head?
think last we checked we were 37th.
Okay, I was going to say 32. I'm going to go adding Jaykwon 29.
32. You should have stuck
Okay,
with your
dang.
gut. You should have stuck with it.
Yeah, it's a gut thing.
So we're, for a while, several weeks in a row, we were trending the absolute wrong direction.
Sure.
And now we are steadily making our way down the stairs.
Making our way downstairs.
There's only one link of sausage left, and it's DeAndre.
I'm counting the scholarships in my head to make sure that's correct. No.
Well, there's a potential for maybe another,
more, yeah.
a backup big.
Sure. DeAndre is where you're going.
But
with
from
that.
where we're looking right now, you had DeAndre. We've seen it before. Top 10,
Do you
number
have it?
9.
Is it still there? Number
Oh,
9?
it's there.
How
number
are you
9.
Only number 9. I guess. Oh, Leonard left.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, you just added an unbelievable wing scorer.
Right. So you lost TFL, but you had Jaykwon, you had DeAndre. You're still a top 10 ball club. Which Rothstein, you speaking of, refuses.
To budge on that, huh?
Yeah, top 20, consistent. No matter who we add, no matter how good they are. DeAndre comes back, we're just top 20.
He's not someone I typically defend by any means. But like, I also don't know all the other teams around us, who they're bringing back, who they've added.
I don't
There's
know that
so
he knows
much
that
changing.
either.
Yeah, it's just like there's an ever-changing landscape of college basketball. I see that roster that Memphis has, and I'm like, I can't name 20 teams with better rosters. So like, I just assume they're going to be in the top 20. Like, it checks that box.
That's fair. There's too much movement.
But if we see preseason and they're 22, like, whatever, you know?
Oh, I don't care. I don't care about the preseason stuff.
Whatever.
This ball club's doing big things.
You said it, man. So Jaykwon, Jordan, no David Jones just yet. Guess who else is here?
Jalen?
We got another one. Jalen Young is here.
See, that's another situation that felt very similar to David Jones. Here it's teacher struggles, but he got signed off. And he down to the Dominican, he gets to go. Well, I guess David's down there, but
Sure.
He's with family. He's from there.
I know what people are going to laugh at me because, like, you have Javon Quinterly. Like, we don't need another point guard type of situation. But, like, I'm actually excited about Young and him being on the roster.
I think I am too. I've talked myself into it. You need a good serviceable backup, and I think he's perfect
He
for
played
it.
damn well for UCF in those, I don't remember, it was like 6 games.
Yeah.
But still, like, I mean, he's a facilitating point guard. So if you're someone that, Kendrick.
And a defender. He's going to defend.
Kendrick would assist for sure, but his first goal was score for the most part. Like, Jalen's not really looking to score. He's trying to dish it out. And I think now that you have Jaykwon Walton there, like, catch and shoot, my man. Like, I think there's a good combo, a good setup there.
Yeah. You know what I'm most excited about? You got a bunch of guards 6'1" and over.
Oh, yeah.
No more of the 5'10" guard play.
Especially when it was like no matter who was out there, it was 5'10",
Yeah.
sub 5'10", no matter what.
Yeah, a lot of times 2 of them at the same time.
And I hated that so much. Love the guys, just hate it.
Yeah, but at the
Drove
same
me nuts.
time,
Definitely a big roster, a big team that they're putting together out there. So, what else we got? Anything else that we haven't touched on?
Tej, I'll go back to it since we have confirmation of Lester. I'll bump it up a smidge. 28.5 over under points.
I mean, he is I think he has a shot to be an actual NBA player.
Oh,
like, I know he's a
100%.
two-way guy.
He looked great in summer league.
Oh, he looked fantastic. And that's playing against grown men. So I'm trying to rationalize.
I mean, he's going to be
thought
playing
here.
against grown men in Dominican. Are you kidding me? And juniors and seniors all over this roster.
I am concerned.
I mean,
that
Cal would be scared to take freshmen in and play the University of Memphis. It would be, quite frankly, he would say that it was dangerous.
wasn't he there?
I mean, he
Head
may
coach
have
one
to.
time?
He would get his players' parent. They would have to sign a waiver to play Memphis.
Wasn't Cal the Dominican head coach one year?
Must be this tall to play the Memphis Tigers.
Oh gosh,
What'd you say?
I want to say Cal was the DR's head coach one year.
Is that right? He was somebody. Was it DR or was it Puerto Rico or somebody?
You're talking about Rick Pitino?
No,
No,
Cal was
Cal.
the national team
He was the
coach.
national team head coach.
Was
for
it for the
somebody.
Dominican? That may be right.
I don't remember. I'm trying to look it up, but also not sit here and film you Googling stuff. So, whoever it was, doesn't matter. Back to your question, 28 over 28 and a half. I'm not sure he's going to put in that much effort. I will actually change. My original was over 25, but I don't know if he's going to put in that much work.
All right.
What
You
do
think it's
say?
him not putting in work, or you think it's Penny knowing how to shut him down?
No, I don't think it's that at all. I think
This
that
trip's
it's
more about fun and bonding, anyways.
Yeah, I think there's too much. Oh, man, I'm so torn on that. I'm going back and forth now mentally in my head. I'm going to say under 28, mostly because
The under
ain't a
feels
chance in hell anyone's keeping stats like that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we're never going to know unless you just sit there and count them up.
Surely there will be some kind of box
Anybody
score.
who finds a way to watch this, I need you to count Lester points and give us the over-under because I'm
and
going
then
to
we're
take
going
under
We're
28
going
now.
threes too, 5.5 over under threes.
Well, I mean, I just said
He's going to
under.
get hot, isn't he? Yeah, but he could hit 6 threes and it's only 18.
It's true. He's not Robert Saleh, though.
I mean, what kind of foul situation? Are we going to have legit refs down there calling everything? They're going to let the boys play.
No, you got to keep everyone safe. I'm sure they're going to play it real. I'm going to say under the 5 threes or 6 threes, whatever. you said
Over
it was.
5 threes and under 28 points would be fun, though. And yes, John was the Dominican Republic
I
coach.
thought so. I knew that sounded right.
Back in 2011. Gosh, it didn't feel like it was that long ago. Wow, John's only 64.
He feels 64, actually.
He feels older to me. Aging.
Anything?
Kenny, what you say, Lester performance tomorrow? No, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Man, I don't think Penny's going to try to stop him. I think he's what was your over? What was
Kenny's
your
going over 28.5 points and 5.5 threes.
I mean,
will Lester have a triple double on us?
It depends on how much he plays. If he plays substantial minutes, he'll score whatever he wants to score.
Can we get a lockdown on the Dominican Republic national team roster? That thing is so fluid.
I heard Cat might be joining.
What? That changes things. If you're talking about Karl Anthony Towns, when you say Cat.
The very one, Karl Anthony Towns.
Changes things what? For what you just picked for Lester?
Well, yeah, because, you're building a roster around people that have no business playing in a scrimmage game. I feel like they could F around and absolutely destroy the Tigers.
We're not going down there to win a ball game. Like I said, it's down there to have fun.
If Karl
Anthony Towns is playing?
Yeah, to have fun. We're just having fun. We're not winning.
No, you're being embarrassed.
I'm going to be embarrassed.
It's Karl Anthony Towns.
So?
He would drop 50 and 25 on you.
Doesn't mean it has to be embarrassment.
One player is dropping 50 points on you? And if you think Lester can give you 15 for funsies?
That's only 65.
That's fine. How many Tiger games last year broke 65?
I don't know.
A lot of them.
They were actually pretty good high scoring.
What are you talking about?
I know.
Yeah, we broke 100 like 60 times.
I'm just saying.
If Karl Anthony Towns is playing, it's a different.
And Chris Duarte, if you get him, if that's locked in there, that's bananas.
I didn't realize he's from the Dominican.
His mom.
I think his mom, yeah. Which this is completely side note. Do you ever heard the thing on Karl Anthony Towns' voice? His voice is real high squeaky like this. And then the camera will be on him. He's like, I played a real good game. And it's kind of wild.
So somebody close to him had to have called him out on that.
Oh, yeah. His teammates, I'm sure. Absolutely ripped in.
Wouldn't you change your voice if you were on camera all the time, being asked questions?
I kind of am, and I kind of already have a higher pitched voice, so I just
I will say I feel like
expect it.
TJ did it a little bit the first couple of times we recorded these, and they did never get put out there. I'm talking day one, back over a year ago before Bluff City Media.
That was the mic. It was all the mic.
TJ had a little bit of a live on-air voice change.
Oh, that was no. You're making fun of me because I was enunciating. I would better enunciate. The Tigers are heading down to Dominican. I would enunciate words better because I'm using a laptop mic and not my actual mic.
Whatever. Maybe that was it. Regardless, it's gonna be fun. 3 games: Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and then they just party? I don't know.
No, I think they come right back.
I'm talking about in between the games.
No.
On an off day. They're not down there practicing, that's for sure. They've already said it's to go and bond and hang out, get to know one another.
Hang out in the Caribbean,
half the team just showed up in the last 48 hours.
That is true.
It makes me think of when we went to the Hawaii Bowl. They were down there for 10 days, didn't play football.
Just took a hell of vacation.
I kept seeing Eddie Lewis on Instagram Lives, and dude was just pounding Mai Tais and stuff. I'm like, well, he's he was 23 or 22. I guess it's legal, but just wasn't expecting to see it.
And Seth stayed there with his family for a week after. You're already there.
Yeah,
Thanks, Easy Post, for getting us there.
Yeah, you might as well.
We're going to hang out for a bit.
You might as well do that.
Speaking of football, do we have anything else basketball?
No, other than just all the news last week. JQ, we got an interview out. Christian did one with Jaykwon Walton. If you haven't seen those, check them out, bluffcitymedia.co. Good stuff. I got real fired up in the JQ interview.
Yeah, he seems like just a real good dude. I think I just like him as a person.
Yeah. Jaykwon just seems like he wants to come and just work.
Yeah.
Dude's just a dog.
Which I kind of get that from a couple of guys on the roster, if you want to be really honest. They just seem like dudes that are out here trying to earn it as if they are, sophomores trying to fight for a roster spot. But the more you hear about these guys and read about these guys, it seems like they are just constantly just here to work. And I love that. Like, I think that's
work all week long.
we took that way
two
two different
songs. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go in the more country round. I don't know what
TJ
you were
was going Rihanna.
Mm-hmm.
Work.
Oh, okay.
What do y'all think about? So, in that interview with Christian with JQ, he talked about having been on teams that have made deep runs, and he said, "I've been to the Sweet 16, and I've got to get past it."
Yeah.
Did that not kind of fire y'all up a little bit?
No, and that's what I was going to ask TJ. Yes, it did. Absolutely. And I know in the Discord, other people got fired up by that. But yeah, hearing him say, I know what it takes to get there, and I've got to get over the hump. Like, I mean, it feels like this is the year.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I felt like last year was the year.
Well, it's given the situation after you got there, but going into it in an 8-9 with Purdue being like in that scenario, it didn't really feel like.
I could not.
Also, I mean, before the season started, people were questioning whether that team was even going to really make.
And who?
All you had was Kendrick and DeAndre, and then a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, man.
I guess that's true.
I mean,
still thought they were a tournament
There were
team.
definitely people talking about them being an NIT team.
Regardless, with Kendrick and DeAndre alone, I thought they were going to be the second team out of the American.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
like, I thought by default the American was going to put in two
not
teams.
making the Sweet 16.
No.
I mean, I'm talking preseason expectations.
I'm with you now.
This team is much more talented, much more experienced, has been there. You have several players that have played in the NCAA tournament.
Dramatically.
Like, even as great as Kendrick Davis was, he had never been there.
Yeah, and I blame more Bakovic, the head coach from SMU. I can't think of that guy's real name.
Jankovic.
Yeah, Jankovic.
You better not say a bad word about him because
Kendrick's going to come after you, bro.
dude.
Don't mess with Jankovic.
And Jankovic is a big Tiger guy now. Well, he was last year.
Yeah.
Guess it doesn't matter anymore.
I will say, and I would hate for it to be this way because you're building just like a chef's kiss of a roster. But I would hate for us to build up this high expectation of a Sweet 16 almost seems like the floor, and then like you don't make it.
And that's the reality. It's year 6. You got your most talented, most experienced roster. You add DeAndre, and this team doesn't make the second weekend. I would say that's a disappointment.
Well, we talked about this not that long ago. Like, this is the most talented Tiger roster since, and I guess it's more talented today. But I think the answer still stays the same. It's the national championship team, right?
I mean, it depends on how you look at it.
National championship contender team.
Like,
to clarify,
people could argue that the Duran Imani roster was pretty talented.
They're freshmen, though.
I know, but you had DeAndre in there. You had Landers. You had you still had some experience.
Honestly think that roster.
I didn't say me. I'm just saying there's people out there.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, it's probably.
You gonna make the Tyreek argument?
I was going to say it could have been that year too, maybe. I mean, you also had the Adonis class,
the Chris, the Joe.
Again, if it's a roster full of freshmen, I can't.
I see where you're coming from. No, I mean it's. We've talked about it before.
The Anthony Davis class is like the only one I could think of that has
top to
done
bottom.
anything.
It's the best class or the best roster we've had in a while.
Kenneth, what do you think?
I mean, I agree. We talked about this a few weeks ago. If DeAndre gets a waiver, you're talking about 25 years of college basketball experience in that roster,
absurd.
In that starting 5 roster, or starting 5. That's crazy.
That feels illegal.
It's the day and age of college basketball, though, right?
Gosh, if our season slogan isn't something about being dangerous, just a jab at Cal, our basketball marketing team needs work.
It's a tough thing when you are coming into a season with high expectations, knowing that there's only going to be one team, 2 teams really, that will make it to the NCAA championship, that could consider their season with the kind of roster that Memphis has right now, a total success. It's tough because you do want to pump the brakes and go, man, when have we ever experienced, other than the 2008 season, a run like what this roster could potentially put together? But I don't think that means we shouldn't.
Yeah,
That we should discount this roster.
I'm not even saying it has. I'm just saying second weekend. Like, you should be able to get out of the first weekend.
Yeah, no, I feel it's so hard to say now because we're so far away.
It
from
is,
March, but like the roster is composed in a way that you should at least make the Sweet 16. Granted, you don't know what kind of bus hall you're going to run into. Like,
right.
There could be, as stupid as FAU is, you could run into an FAU because they were a good team last year. Granted, no matter who won the Memphis FAU game, the road was paved.
Well, that's
to get you pretty far.
Yeah, and that's the problem is with your schedule being so front heavy. If we slip up and then you run out of quality wins down the stretch, you may get underseeded again.
Yeah.
It's happened the last couple like last year we should not have been in the 8-9 game. And FAU probably shouldn't have been in it either.
Yeah. I wonder they got in it because of just the strength of schedule.
Yeah. I mean, that's back-to-back years. Arguably, we probably should have been seeded better than the 8-9 line.
Yeah, but when we talked about this, I remember us saying like a 7 was like the highest it should have gotten.
I mean, looking at stuff last year, we could have been a 6.
But you know exactly why they weren't.
I know.
Because had they beat Houston the other game, then like, yeah, probably.
But maybe not.
So
it did feel like that seeding came down to the fact that they lost 2 games to Tulane and 1 game to UCF.
Of course.
Yep.
100%. And because you look at the games that they won, they should, like non-conference especially, that Texas A&M game turned out to be a massive game for the Tigers. And it makes you wonder, like, what is it about? Like, what do the Tigers need to do in order to be seated higher coming out of the AAC conference? Because I mean, I know they lost a couple of games in the AAC, season, the conference schedule, but coming out of that non-con, they were rolling, right? Like they were.
Yeah. But I think that's the problem is it's a lot of it is so heavily weighted down the stretch. And what have you and we can't afford to slip up in those Tulane, granted, you beat them by 40 in the conference tournament. There's too many people that come into the conference tournament and they already have their mindset.
Yeah. I don't know how much the conference tournament really weighs on anything.
Matters to people. So you get swept by Tulane, you lose to UCF.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an algorithm they put together throughout the season, something like that.
But this feels like a team. Sure, maybe you drop a game in Boca to FAU, but
that's going to be a good loss if there were
right. This feels like a team that's not going to drop 2 games to a Tulane or lose at East Carolina on a random 2, right? Just an experienced senior laden team like this. I just don't see losses like that happening.
I don't think that Memphis can lose a conference game and be seated.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you were just going to end that statement there.
And be seated. And not be like if they lose to FAU on the road, because I don't think FAU is going to be ranked that high. I mean, they do have
absolutely expect them to be ranked.
They do have an easy non-conference schedule, absolutely. But I think with Penny has mentioned this numerous times in post-game press conferences and media availabilities, even in this season opening media availability, he talked about it. This conference is just disrespected nationally in terms of seeding.
Sure.
And so,
yeah.
If you lose one,
it's probably only going to get worse now.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know because you're going to have Florida Atlantic's going to come in preseason ranked pretty high, and I don't expect them to lose. I don't know. They're out of conference. I don't know. It could start off Alabama, Duke, Tennessee. Like it could start off just absolutely brutal. But when they go on a 20-game run, I guess they won't go on a 20-game run, but you get my point. Like I could see them completely rebounding, and they're never really dropping very far.
Are they going to get the Memphis treatment, where Memphis goes on a big run, nothing happens with their ranking, and then they lose 1 game and it's over? Like, what if they come into Memphis and lose, or what if they lose in Boca?
See, that's
to Memphis. Are they going to just fall off the edge of the cliff again?
Yeah, but Memphis was always finding a way to lose the 1 game they needed to win at the end of the run. Like you smoked Tulsa. Yes, you beat UCF, and then you lost to Wichita State or something like that. I feel like it was always something like that. Like you needed that last win and you weren't able to get it. And then so it's like, we were building faith, now we drop back off kind of thing.
I don't have their full out of conference schedule, but they are playing Illinois in Madison Square Garden in the Jimmy V Classic this year.
Damn, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you get that win, and then I don't know how many quad 1 wins or even that potential wins they're going to have on their schedule.
I'm kind of with Kenny though. And again, we don't have the conference schedule right now, but I would not be shocked if we came to the point where we're playing them and they're not ranked anymore, or they're like cusp top 25.
That is very possible. You drop to Illinois early on, and then at that point they come to Memphis. Again, we don't know when they're playing us exactly. They could be, I'll make up a number, 12-2.
Yeah.
And potentially unranked because they lost to Illinois, then they lost to some team they probably shouldn't have.
They're playing
Rice.
Bryant, Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, you lose to Eastern Michigan,
Liberty.
without Amani, that's a problem.
Is Earl still at Bryant?
Yeah.
We
I think so.
need Earl to go off.
I think Liberty could come in and beat them. Honestly, Liberty is a good team. I'm just saying, 2019 season with Memphis, they came in highly ranked with that #1 recruiting class.
Yeah.
Then they had that game, and y'all are so much smarter.
Lost to Georgia.
They lost to Georgia. Then they lost to
You got freaking embarrassed.
Oregon. They got beat by Oregon in 2019, and they just dropped off a cliff. And what it feels like, and I don't know if it's a Memphis thing or if it's a AAC thing, you drop off that cliff once, it is impossible to get back.
Well, we dropped off the cliff, Kenny, because we got beat by 40 at Tulsa as the worst ever loss by a top 10 team to an unranked team.
Well, I think the same thing happened last year. It was you went on this hot streak, then you lost to Alabama in in a very exciting game. So it was okay because obviously it's Alabama. They're a top 5 team at the time. So it was a good loss. And then you went on this hot streak again, and then you lost to Tulane. And it's you had to win that game. It felt like for it to matter.
And then you kind of felt like you
and then you
were
started
this, and then you lost to
and then you did it again.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was saying. They get on these streaks, and then they lose to this team that's just so far down. I don't know what Tulane's Kim Palm ranking is off the top of my head. When we lost to them.
Yeah. They were around 100-ish. So.
Yeah. It was just these great game, win. It's man, we're doing hot. We're doing good.
I remember we sat there and
then,
talked about, can they rattle off 20 in a row or whatever they were saying.
And then they kept
literally almost lost at home to, I don't even remember who it was now.
You almost lost at home?
Yeah, we almost lost at home our first conference game at home.
Was that UCF?
No,
that was oh man, yeah, I know exactly what game you're talking about. But again, that's why I'm saying I don't think they can lose a conference.
South Florida.
Yeah.
Tyler went off in the second half, had 17 in the second half or whatever.
Which is why I'm saying I just don't think they can lose in the conference, because I think the conference is #1 compared to last year, going to be super disrespected. Maybe rightfully so in a large part, but I just think that you can't. It's not like there's a set number of conference games they can win and then drop one and be like, oh, it's okay, not a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if they only lost to FAU in conference, and you swept everybody else, I think you'd be fine. But
I think
obviously you don't want to lose to FAU. I cannot lose to FAU
Oh
twice.
my gosh.
Yeah.
How TJ, in your opinion, has FAU somersaulted over a lot of other teams as your most aggravating fan base?
Oh, easily. Dude, they are on Twitter, X, whatever they want to call it now. They are all over it, thinking they are so superior. And it's not just in basketball. They think that they have already overcome Memphis in football. I'm like, dude, you just went on a 5-game, you won 5 games in 3 years or something.
Didn't
like
we
that.
just beat them?
Yeah, that's
2 years ago?
It's so annoying. And in basketball, they just think they are so elite because they made this one run. You won this one fluky ass game where there were 6 or 7 different calls. Everyone, not even Memphis fans, national media people, were up in arms about what are we talking about? Didn't even let Kendrick land. What's the point of the rule? I feel like I could go on days and days on that one specific game, and they win that one game, and it's not a thing where they're hey, Memphis, great game. You guys are great competitors. I can't wait to see what the future holds between us. Because if they said that, I would respect them. I don't respect FAU fans. I don't. They piss me off so much.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, they'll have a raucous 1,500 in the gymnasium they have down there. And if we come out of that tough environment with a win,
Seriously.
It's national championship or bust if they do that.
No, in all due respect, does FAU's arena hold more than El Marone?
I don't know.
I need to know.
But can you imagine playing your home games in that and then going and playing in the Final Four in the freaking NFL dome?
Hell, the FedEx Forum.
Well, even that.
I'm looking up the arena. I'm curious at this point. Like,
Curious about what?
what holds more?
You got to stop calling it an arena. I mean, it's a straight up gym.
It's that's their name.
2,900 multi-seat arena. That's the El Marone.
That may be the exact
That is
thing
the
as
El Marone, bro.
Photos.
Oh
gosh.
my gosh, that is a trip.
Congrats. Our women play in the same capacity. I don't know. I think our women could probably get more in there. I'll say University of Memphis has El Marone at 2565. Whatever. El Marone's nicer than the Owl's Nest or whatever the hell they call it. Whatever.
The Eleanor R. Baldwin Arena.
I'm gonna call it the Owl's Nest. I don't even know if Owl's Nest.
Do they still have this palm tree court? That is heinous.
Let's hope not. It's like the Oregon Christmas tree court.
Yeah, but it's just a bunch of palm trees.
I actually like Oregon's court. I think it works for them.
All right, Tees, let's take a break. We get back, we're going to talk a little football. We had AAC Media Days. Not a whole lot to gather out of there, but we'll look at how our rankings stood up, at least for the top four.
Deal.
Talk a little realignment, and we'll wrap her up.
There's definitely stuff to talk about there.
Bluff City NIL is an official partner with Coaching for Literacy, a nonprofit organization using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. You can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or at Coaching for Literacy on social media platforms. Your donations to Bluff City NIL are 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together, so we thank you for supporting Memphis Tiger student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause that is childhood literacy. Tej, we had AAC Media Days last week. Did you just finish that?
No.
Okay, we're only at the halfway point, I was going to say.
I mean, it's getting low.
Oh, I'm low. That's why I've stopped. AAC Media Days, we had a good contingency there. Jalen Allen, Simeon Blair, Simonian, Seth, and Jacob Likes. Good contingency at Tiggs down there. We talked about the media poll. We got the top four right. Tulane, 20 first place votes. UTSA with 9 in second. SMU third, they had 3 first place votes. Memphis fourth with 1. And then the only other first place vote, which Kenneth, breaking news last week, told us, UAB all the way down in 8th.
Come on, man.
Had a first place vote.
Did we ever figure out who that was?
I don't know that
we
our
had
guy,
Brian Moss on.
He was on the scene trying to figure it out. I don't know that he ever was able to track down who that was.
I'm gonna give y'all a guess on who the guy that voted number one, Tigers number one, is.
I know who it was.
Oh, we know. B-Moss.
That's all B-Moss.
Our guy B-Moss, baby.
He's got us going 11-1.
He is Mr. Positivity, though, just for what it's worth. Like
I don't hate it.
That is him.
I need it. I love it.
No, I mean it's fantastic.
Trey's been hanging out with you a little bit too long. He needs some positivity in his life.
I don't even know what that means. I'm a realist.
No. Any insight from any of that? Anything surprising to you? No, we knew exactly who would be in what order.
I think
I
we
will
both
say
agreed.
Florida Atlantic at 5, but I think you might have put them there. It's a little surprising to me.
I mean, I think it's the power of Tom Herman. It's the power of pulling a former, I think it was Nebraska quarterback, Casey Thompson, or Texas, where he's been, I think he was Texas, then Nebraska, now FAU. I think he kind of bounced around a little bit, but you're pulling in a I'd say a relatively successful head coach in Tom Herman.
I mean, especially at the G5 level.
Yeah. Oh, even at Texas, he was winning 7 games. It's just the problem is it's Texas, and like, kind of is what it is. Like 7's not going to do it for you. Like, you can win 10 games several years in a row, and you're still going to get fired. It's the Mark Richt theory at Georgia. Like, it was just winning 10 game, and just could never actually get there. Couldn't break that hump, and they're like 10 games isn't good enough.
Yeah.
In this wild world, so. Herman's good. I think they're going to put together a decent roster every year. They're going to smash the portal. It's so easy to sell. It's freaking Boca. Like, yes, their football team is.
I mean, it's Boca.
It's not the nicest thing in the world. Like the where they've been, they talent wise, they have not been very good. Willie Taggart was awful, but
I mean, Joey Freshwater still spends a majority of his time down there in Boca.
It's still Boca. It looks pretty sick. I know we were just crapping on the basketball team and their fans, but like, it's still Boca.
It's still Boca.
It's pretty easy to sell Boca. You like sun? You like the palm trees? It's not cold here ever.
Like water?
You like water? Yeah.
I don't like sand.
I hate sand, dude.
yeah,
The
sand
worst part
can-
about the beach.
Sand can go.
How do we make a fake beach to replace that?
Mississippi River. They got a fake beach down there, don't they?
I don't think that's where you want to swim.
Jagged
See,
rocks.
that's what I was going to say. Your only other option is like rocks, and I don't know that that's better than
No,
sand.
no. I think we can come up with something better.
What about like pebbles? You know how like you do like those little stone pebbles? that
Yeah,
you-
don't those get real hot though?
Yeah, they do kind of get hot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking like completely artificial. You guys are sticking way too with real Mother Nature stuff.
Some
I
kind
want
of just fake sand that feels
that
like
kinetic
nice,
sand that
like,
you can kind of like play with
that's
and
not
mold that
sticky.
never
That's
sticks to
good.
you.
Yeah, that's good.
Can we
That's
get some
good.
kinetic sand beaches?
That would be so expensive.
I'm a big
but
kinetic sand fan.
That would be sweet. TJ,
Kinetic
you're
sand is
onto
dope.
something.
I like kinetic sand.
Wow.
No real shockers there. The
Not-
biggest shocker.
You surprised by Tulane being first by 20 votes?
No, only because
I know you're a big believer in UTSA over there.
Well, I was. We talked about this, and then I saw their schedule, and I don't think it's going to do them any favors. They also got 6,000 guys on the all-conference team by PFF. I think that's absurd. Tulane only got, I think, 1 on offense, 1 on defense. It's going to come down to the more favorable schedules, and I think that's actually what's going to be in Memphis's favor because they don't have too many tough road games. They got Tulane at home. And I think someone pulled this stat up. I don't remember who it was.
Oh, I saw this. We have not lost in Memphis to Tulane since 98.
Since 98. That's kind of wild. Except that one, I think JoJo's senior year, I think the game was pretty close. We flirted with losing, but I think we ended up winning that one. I don't know if you remember that.
Was that the game Asa Martin caused a fumble on a kickoff or whatever?
I think so.
Kind
That
of saved
sounds
it
right.
towards the end.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
And the time matches
That was
up
the
with
year
Asa.
they went 2-10 or whatever.
Yeah, they were not good. Yeah.
In other news, we got our wish, TJ. Old QB1 Seth Henigan is, in fact, released today, Monday, July 31st. He is listed on the Maxwell watch list.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense. I don't know how you wouldn't.
Deservingly so. It's about time. It's just probably a year late. Some would argue not.
I mean, I looked at some of the names on there, and it's all the same familiar names, right?
Yeah.
You've got Frank Harris from UTSA, Michael Pratt from Tulane, Seth Henigan. Stop me when this doesn't sound familiar. We talked about the best quarterbacks in the American. We're just repeating all the same names. I think the UAB running back got it. He's a senior running back. I think he had like 900 yards last year, and he split time with somebody else, which is absurd. And he still almost pulled in 1,000 yards.
Can we get that?
MLB nice. No, it's a lot of familiar names. I think there's a wide receiver in the conference who's on there. This is side note. Do you know who is a really good wide receiver and is now in the American? They were not in the American before, so it's one of the new teams. And they obviously also have not always played wide receiver. I saw this the other day, and I was very confused by it. Luke McCaffrey.
Wow.
He's like a stud wide receiver now. I guess things didn't work out at quarterback. So,
Really?
yeah, remember he was at Michigan. He was a quarterback.
I know. Define stud wide receiver.
I mean, he had like 700 yards last year. He's
really
all conference this year at wide receiver preseason. I mean, you can look it up. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head.
58 receptions, 723 yards, 6 tutties.
It's pretty good for a guy who played quarterback for a couple years.
And that is...
And now he has an actual quarterback.
Essentially, that was his first year of playing wide receiver, too.
Yeah. How good of an athlete must you be where you went to Michigan to play quarterback? And, like, I know he lost the job, so whatever. You want to think about that. But you're just such a good athlete. You've spent so many years playing quarterback that you're like, you know what? I'm just going to, midway through, I'm just going to change positions and be unbelievable. Maybe you got his dad's genes.
Was he on the PFF All-Conference team?
I believe he was. I think he was one of the receivers for it. I don't know if it was first or second team. 700 yards, kind of getting up there. I don't know how many people had 1,000 yards receiver. 1,000-yard receiver. But it took me by shock.
That is surprising.
And you have a 17th-year quarterback throwing to you in JT Daniels. So maybe Rice could be onto something. I'm not going to say they're going to win 8 games.
What were they picked to finish?
Near the bottom.
Like 12th or something. 11th.
Somewhere down there with Biff,
Charlotte.
Pogge, and
With
Charlotte.
old Charlotte.
Charlotte. USF down there.
To what?
USF was down there, weren't they?
Yeah. The Charlotte thing was funny. Biff Pogge got real mad because...
What, he only got asked 3 questions?
3 questions. You know, your media team is supposed to travel with you and ask these questions. Like when Ryan Silverfield was up there and they were asking questions, I saw Frank. I saw Brian Moss. I saw that guy. I can't ever think of his name, but like they were all local media guys. Sorry, Biff, your media doesn't like you and they didn't travel for whatever reason. That I don't know. I can't answer that question. And it's not up to other cities to ask you questions. Like you guys were a 3-win team or something like that last year. You just brought in 52 new guys on your roster, and that's not an exaggeration. Like no one knows anything about you. You've never been a head coach before.
Then ask some questions, TJ. Find out about the guy.
I don't think anyone should have to. Like your coach just went. Like Silverfield just had just gone, or maybe I can't remember if it was Pogge then Ryan or whatever the layout of it was. But like, I'm not traveling to Dallas or to Arlington to listen to Biff Pogge, however it's pronounced. Like
justice for Biff.
You say that
He deserved more.
Sure, that's fair. Talk to us. You've never been a coach before. You've been an assistant head coach, associate head coach. That is your only role. And now all of a sudden you're a head coach at Charlotte. Nothing makes sense.
It felt like some very fake outrage to me. It was hilarious.
It did.
Well, it got him.
It's definitely
got him
marketing.
the pub.
The little tapping of the podium as he walked away. His whole thing is just marketing. Like he is trying to come off as like this old school badass, and I just don't think they're going to be that good.
There is some hammering going on in the back studio.
I'm mad because y'all ain't asking me questions.
I feel that in my toes.
The floor is shaking.
I feel that in my bones.
I'm still expecting
In my plums.
I know what he's talking about. Let the boy watch. I know what he's talking about. Kenny's got us off on a tangent now. More watch lists to come. I think we talked about Jacob Likes being on the Outland. It's probably going to be the Remington. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I think I said Outland. I meant Remington.
You
I
did
think
say
that's
Allen.
specifically centers. That one hasn't come out yet, but I'm expecting him to be on that one. Tons of other guys to come out. I wouldn't be too shocked if you hear something about Simeon Blair being on there. I just wouldn't be shocked by it as all.
Well, we'll have a full football preview coming up as we get close. We're only 5 weeks away, 5 full weeks from week 1 football.
Yeah. And by the
Fall camp starts Wednesday.
Took it out of my mouth.
So the day this drops, probably at the time, close to.
Sure.
Football practice day 1 will be starting.
Yeah. I think that will it'll be an interesting day. We can, by the next podcast, we'll probably look at depth chart, get a general idea of what we think the depth chart's going to be before we start diving into football and fall practice, and kind of getting out there and seeing the guys and things like that. So
Yeah.
I have an update about fall practice and a day in the life situation. That you got. It's bad news, boys.
Oh,
Yeah. Unfortunately, the University of Memphis could not make it happen. I think they were more scared that TJ was going to come in and probably maybe get some people hurt out there.
Sure.
Understandable.
Can we slap our Bluff City Media GoPros to people? Is that okay? Did they okay that?
Well, they already have like 4 GoPros on people.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
For the
Yeah, but I
QBs.
need our GoPros so it can be our footage. You know,
I don't think so.
Was it like a
the
hard no?
yeah. Did they sound flexible with it?
It was a one-liner.
Absolutely not.
It was a. Are you kidding me? right
Whatever. It was a good idea. I like it. Maybe we can
There's a lot of potential there.
touch it up again on game day.
Oh,
The
yeah.
sights and sound kind of stuff.
I'm not done, guys. I'm gonna keep fighting for you too.
We appreciate it, man.
We'll get out there, TJ.
Dang. I will say I was at practice a couple years ago and I had sunglasses on and I think they may have thought I was a recruit because you couldn't see my face. I'm not sure I had much facial hair then too. And I was standing near kind of where the recruiting parents are. I was just kind of standing off and Scott Burns had walked by and he just kind of ignored me. And I didn't even realize it was him until he walked past me. I didn't know what he was doing. And I'm just sitting there watching him practice. And I look down, I'm like, man, I've been here for like 20 minutes and normally they cut us off by now. And I'm realizing that, holy crap, they think I am with the recruits because I look around and I'm like, I'm standing right near all the recruits right now. And they didn't say a word to me. I just had to like turn around and walk with my little pass back to Scott and just let
All
him know they
honest,
forgot me.
TJ turned himself in there.
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. I was more embarrassed more than anything because they thought I was an 18-year-old kid, but
They just like the size. They were hoping you were going to commit.
They were thinking, can we get a commit out of this kid?
I will say at my size, if I was an 18-year-old kid, yes, I would probably be. I think they'd be impressed by that.
Yeah. All right, so we'll have updates hopefully throughout fall camp, like TJ said. Little roster talk next week. We'll jump into a full season preview of superlatives. We'll have some. We'll take some questions from the Discord. Anything you guys want to know? TJ, did you know that Saturday was International Tiger Day?
Unfortunately, I found out the hard way.
I don't know who's in charge of the Twitter account over there at the this was not from the basketball, not from the football. This was the overall Tiger Athletics. You got to read the room, guys. We're in the midst of realignment activities. You're going to just tweet out some cryptic tweet like that with just 3 tiger emojis and nothing else. And it's for freaking International Tiger Day. It's disgusting. I unfollowed him. A 1-week unfollow for that.
That's funny.
Is it funny?
Well, I will say they posted out the 3 tigers, and someone was like, "Tigers have 4 paws. 3 times 4, 12. Big 12. We're going to the Big 12."
That's what I'm saying. You can't just tweet out cryptic stuff like that. People start reading into it. Like, if you're going to do the tiger thing, at least throw out Happy International Tiger Day. Then there's no question behind it.
Give some feedback with it.
They knew what they were doing.
Some context with it.
I saw all kinds of retweets with just the eyes emojis. I mean,
It's like Big Game Boomer was out there.
It's
Like,
disgusting
They're doing what they
is
can
what
to
it
get those
was.
interactions on Twitter.
absolutely disgusting.
Hey, I didn't look
1
at
week.
it.
1 week unfollow.
I didn't
Do it
unfollow.
again, and it could be a month.
Unbelievable.
Test me.
Oh, Daddy Trey over here, man. Sounds like he's reprimanding his child right now.
Jeez.
No, she's perfect. She doesn't get reprimanded.
She's a little
right.
angel. Trey, I don't know if you saw this on the Twitter machine, but John Grove, I'm not sure you're familiar with John Grove.
Not familiar with his work.
Yeah, so
Is that John with an H or just Jon?
It's just Jon, actually. It's a good question.
I don't trust him.
If you're gonna hawk it down.
Drop
he
the
is with
H.
the Cat Attack Pod, which is Wildcat 919 FM, Kansas State Radio.
I don't have any idea where this is going.
He tweeted out, I've changed my stance. If the Big 12 wants to bring in fan engagement, intensify rivalries and football excitement, Arizona Athletics, Utah Athletics, and Tiger Athletics should be considered as the next 3 expansion candidates.
All in on John Grove.
I trust him now.
Yeah, I will say this. John
No H is a better way to spell it, to be honest. I mean,
he doesn't have many followers, so I'm not sure his voice is heard by many. But we're not going to hold that against you, John. You're a friend of the program. I will say we are starting to somewhat develop this just brotherhood friendship with Kansas State, and I don't mind it.
are we?
Well, yeah, that's where Adam
'Cause
Walker
old
went. Adam Walker's there as Alumni Association president or whatever his new title is there. That's where Laird is from, I believe. And there's at one point a Big 12 president who came out and said that he was completely open to adding Memphis. There was only one that mentioned, and obviously they stayed anonymous. But I can't help to think that it wasn't Kansas State at this point. They seem like friends. I don't know who else it would be.
They could be friends. They definitely could be friends. They could be old A-Walk up there putting in a good word.
Maybe. And that kind of leads me down this, I guess.
You hadn't even mentioned the first domino has officially fallen.
It has fallen, and I am 1 for 1, and I'm not shocked by it. I'm not shocked by it, honestly. I'm not shocked by it one bit.
Good Lord.
I'm not shocked by it.
What in the hell?
Well, I'm just saying, hear me out.
God, see, this is what's look. I think everybody was under the impression, yeah, it's probably Colorado.
I don't know. I was on it pretty early.
TJ. This is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. He is more excited about being right that Colorado is going back to the Big 12 than he is upset that it appears that we are stuck in the American. And that is my issue with all of this.
I have a problem. I get too big of a dopamine hit when I'm right. And I've got bad news because Arizona's next, and I've been saying it from the jump. You can vouch. I've been saying it for a long time.
But it's not like people didn't know.
Sure. And
I'm just holding out hope that maybe something happens and they don't go. Brett McMurphy put it out there. Colorado made the jump. Mm-hmm. They are at least taking one more. Their hope, as we've discussed, is the 4 corner schools. They want 3 of the remaining. They want Arizona, Arizona State, and Utah. McMurphy says they don't get those 3. They're at least adding one more, and it will be from the group of 5 listed: us, UConn, UNLV, and San Diego State. So my hope, there is a Pac-12 rumor floating around. This is Monday evening, July 31st, that in the next 48 hours, Prez K, because I don't even, Klavikov, I don't know how to say his name, President Klondike Bar.
It's the same thing at this point.
Will present a media rights deal. If it is in the neighborhood of the Big 12, I think you can keep those teams honest and together.
What's in the neighborhood?
If you're, what are they at, 31.5 million?
Yeah.
You're at the 25 range, I think you can keep the teams together.
Not a chance.
Why?
I don't think they're there. He doesn't want to present these numbers. Like he has.
You think he's had them? He's just sitting on them and just what?
Well, yeah, actually, technically, yeah. I think he knows exactly how much is on the table, and he hasn't said anything. He didn't put them up at Pac-12 Media Day because they were asked.
He didn't want it
because the numbers are bad.
He didn't want to take away from the football talk, TJ.
Stop it. It's because the numbers were awful. He's coming back and he's like, "Hey guys, I only have Apple TV." You know, they're making. I don't remember.
Apple TV's the future.
I actually support that idea.
I don't. Streaming sports is
If we're being honest.
Am I going to have to get an Apple TV subscription if Memphis goes to the Pac-12?
Memphis is not going to the Pac-12.
You're going to have to get an Apple TV
heard.
subscription, and you're going to have to start drinking coffee after 5 p.m.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
I can't. I do.
We
I
have
get
football
so
games
pissed.
starting at 9:30.
Oh, every Grizz tip-off that's at 9 p.m., I am out.
Oh, you think the
second half.
An NBA game's done in 2 hours.
I
You got a
know.
4-hour football
That's my
game
point.
starting at 9:30.
No, I think he's going to roll out these numbers tomorrow. It's going to be in the 18 to 20 million range, give or take a little bit. That's what 10 teams sharing it. I don't see it ending well. But also, with that said, I don't think the Big 12 is taking anyone other than Arizona right now. I think it's going to be Colorado and Arizona.
And stop right there.
Yeah, because
for now.
Sure, for now. Because what's the rush? Like, why add Utah? Why add, I mean, I get why you add Utah, Oregon. I get why you add those. Great teams. Washington was good last year. Great teams. Why add them now? Especially with the potential of
Oregon
ACC crumbling.
and Washington don't even really want to be there, right? They're holding out hope for the Big Ten.
That's the thought process, yeah. I don't know why you would add them now. What does it do for you as a conference?
Well, that's the other part that I think McMurphy alluded to is we've talked about the pro rata clauses. Mm-hmm. Supposedly they only have a couple to hand out. It's the first. Colorado just took one. Not every power is.
Well, they got 3 left now.
Was it officially 4?
Yeah, they had 4 total.
Okay.
Colorado got 1. Arizona's about to get another one, so they're gonna have 2 left. And I think settle is a bad word, but you would be settling to go ahead and give it out now when there's no rush. Like why give it to Arizona why give it to Arizona State and Utah, for example? Let's say the ACC does crumble the way that it kind of is teetering on the brinks of it.
So there are rumors there as well with Florida State unhappy.
Clemson's probably unhappy.
Right. There's a rumor of Florida State, Clemson, Oregon, and Washington heading to the Big Ten.
Yeah. I don't know how much I put into that one, but like I get that other schools are flirting because all these dollars are being thrown around right now. And you're like, wait, I can make more money out of this? Like, why would I not at least just stir the pot a little bit? And it makes perfect sense for the Big 12 to grab someone on the East Coast, be it, let's just for funsies say UNC or Virginia Tech, Clemson, whoever, it doesn't matter, that pairs well with UCF, Cincinnati, West Virginia. You already have some schools over there. It's kind of the same logic as UConn, except you're not getting UConn, so everyone's going to be a little bit happier. You're not having to cut down your revenue. You're adding straight with the pro rata. So now it's going to be divided by 14 teams as opposed to 14 with a reduced sum. Granted, it would only be like 2 million less, something like that. But you don't have to do that. So I just don't know why they would add anyone other than Colorado, Arizona right now. All that to say, they're probably going to now go
Take
back.
all 3 of them.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, here's to hoping the Pac-12 stays together. Pac-11 and Memphis gets the call.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much it matters, but Brett McMurphy just tweeted eyeball emojis.
Well, that was a couple hours ago.
Well, I just saw it.
It could be International Eyeball Day for all we know.
That is such a good point. Damn, I didn't
seems to
think
be
about International Eyeball Day.
thing to do on the Twitter these days.
No, expect Arizona to go ahead and pull that one. I think we know exactly what that is.
Well, if nothing else, the first domino fell. The realignment ride has started, and we're along for it.
Yeah, I mean,
We're at the back of the line, but we're hoping we get up there before the ride shuts down.
I need you to keep an open line of communication with me.
Of what?
Of communication?
Communication?
Yes. Of communication with me once Colorado and Arizona leave in the Pac-12. They've got to add new teams, and SMU makes their way out of the American. And it's just you and me and Memphis and USF.
Don't act like
and
you're going to be
Temple
upset. You're going to be so
Tulane.
fired up that you're
I'm gonna
2
be
of
mad.
2.
No, I'm going to be mad. Like I don't want it. Our conference would just be greatly diminished, and I could make myself happier if you told me we added App State in Coastal Carolina and we're going to be the best of the rest. Like I could totally find happiness in that, but I also think because that's likely what's going to happen, and I'm just trying to convince myself to enjoy it now. To just convince myself to be.
Well,
happy
here's
with
to if Florida State, Clemson get out of there and the ACC needs to start taking folks, Louisville's got our back. Let's get over there.
Do they? I would love that. I think the ACC was always the perfect match for Memphis. I just don't think it's going to happen because it sounds like they may be crumbling and weird things could happen. But maybe there's too many left over. Because what would you do with Boston College?
Yeah.
What do you do with Virginia?
Syracuse.
Yeah. Like there's just too many left over. It's the Big East football program. They're going to bring back the Big East and just relabel it or something. Tulane and Memphis to
See that? Bring back Big East football.
Tulane, and I'd be okay with that. Temple,
I would
US,
too.
Temple. Well, Temple would make sense. But they add
That's
4
not
teams.
Timothy, that's not a bad idea. Bring back Big East football at us. Some
You're
of
just
the-
kinda-
some of the
it's
ACC leftovers.
It is the American how it was. You get the American as the premier best of the rest.
I could be talking.
I would much rather that than play UAB and play Rice and UNT
Hey,
and UTSA.
no, don't talk down about the Battle of the Bones.
I love that trophy. I just don't want to play UAB. I don't want to do it. Don't make me. Southern Miss. I don't want to do
It's
it.
gonna be fun. We're not playing Southern Miss for a little while.
We're going to be in the same conference as South
20
Alabama
It's
at
like
this
20.
point.
Oh, well, at least they have a new stadium since the last time
did.
Kenny and I were down there.
You. They put air conditioning in that stadium. That's my question.
It's a nice stadium. They very well may have air conditioned seats.
Mobile, man. Ugh.
Kind of along the lines of this, I don't know if you saw this, TJ, but CBS Sports put out the best college sports programs across the board for 2022-23 athletic season.
Okay.
Our cross-state foe, the Tennessee Volunteers, we're number 1 on the list. Basically, the criteria take into account the results of your athletic teams, including men's football and men's basketball, and then 2 what they label wild card sports. So how well your sports teams did.
You just like pick a random sport. Is that how that works?
Well, I guess you take the 2 that finished or had the most success throughout the year. So in Tennessee's instance, men's basketball, they got 128 points, obviously making the Sweet 16. Women's basketball, I think they too made the Sweet 16. Is that right?
Did
Yes, they did.
they? Have they been? I thought they kind of fell off a little bit.
No, men and women's basketball. So the football team obviously finished number 6 in the AP, beat Clemson in the Orange Bowl, 11-2. Great year. Men's basketball team made the Sweet 16. Wild card sport women's made the Sweet 16. And then both of I don't know which one of these they took, but their baseball and softball teams both advanced into their respective College World Series events.
I mean, that's pretty good. But also at the same time, like, I think that's kind of the power of being in the SEC or like a big conference.
You say that. Our TIGs were listed 54th overall. Not bad. Kind of where we feel like we probably would fall, right there in the top half of the 128 or however many FBS schools there are. Just 1 spot ahead of fellow
Kentucky,
SEC
something like that.
foe for the Tennessee Volunteers, Auburn. 2 spots ahead of Tulane, who, mind you, went to the Cotton Bowl. 3 spots ahead of Iowa State, 4 ahead of BYU. You're ahead of Arizona State. You're ahead of UCF. You're ahead of Wake Forest. Arizona, who's potentially going to the Big 12 because they're better than you. Disgusting. Ahead of FAU, they're 65th. Ahead of Texas A&M at 70th. We're ahead of some good programs. Nebraska, California, Texas Tech. That's a big 12 team.
Who put this out?
CBS Sports. And it's all only based around the last athletic season. So it's only 22-23. Though obviously this will be redone based on the results of this coming year's football and spring sports. But interesting little ranking system they got there.
No, it's definitely interesting. And I would have thought that any of those SEC programs were going to be much higher. Big Ten, SEC, any of those conferences that just have so much more money than everybody else.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, football is king, right? Even if you're a bad SEC team or a bad Big Ten team, you're still just making money hand over fist.
Yeah.
And you're able to just bring in more money for other programs because you can pay better. You can pay for better coaches. You have better facilities, things like that. So a little shocking to see Auburn. I don't want to say down so low because it's exactly where Memphis is, but lower than I would have expected.
But given
them.
the resources that they have available to them.
Exactly, because they have that many resources. So in my mind, I look at Memphis overachieving because we honestly don't have those same resources and those same facilities and things like that. And I don't know.
I
To be
wonder
right
what
there
our
with them,
two.
I'm a little shocked.
It doesn't tell you. It just lists the wild card sports. I wonder what our two wild card sports
Women's
were.
soccer.
I was going to say rifle, dude.
No,
Does
it's
rifle
definitely.
count?
I don't know. It gives the wild card sports have to come from. It's definitely Kenny is all over it. So the wild card sports are, gosh, I keep jumping: baseball, softball, volleyball, soccer, gymnastics, lacrosse, hockey, and wrestling. So 100% girls soccer. And then maybe
They weren't bad at volleyball this year. Maybe volleyball. So is it two? Is it two wild card teams?
two of those that are listed. Yeah. So you definitely soccer, and then we got one more. Maybe volleyball. Maybe
They were They were one of the top.
Kenny's a big volleyball guy.
I don't know how our gymnastics team is. Do we even have one?
No.
No,
Maybe it's baseball.
I would suspect.
And it's not rifle.
We got 50.
Air rifle is like 15-time national champion.
We got 50 points for both of our wild card sports, which seems to be pretty good.
Interesting.
We got 10 points for women's basketball, 50. So this gives you a metric here. Men's basketball got 50 points. So our other two wild card sports also got 50.
50 each or 50 between
each.
the two?
No, 50 each. So on par, whatever the two wild cards we took we're on par exactly with men's basketball.
Wow.
Which makes sense because the soccer team made the NCAA tournament, right?
Sweet 16.
Yep.
Yeah, they did and lost in overtime to Arkansas.
And they're nationally ranked starting. I mean, their season starts up soon.
Yeah.
They're nationally
Yeah.
ranked too.
Football is on par. It looks like if you just make a bowl game, you get 62.5 points. There's a lot of 62.5s on
good
here.
at that.
So
Wow.
I bet it's volleyball. I bet the two sports are women's volleyball and women's soccer. I would suspect for Memphis.
that's not bad.
Gosh, that's how random.
The
But
ladies over
shout
there.
out to the Lady Tigers.
Yeah.
Are we still calling them Lady Tigers? Is that appropriate?
Lady Tigs. I think it's appropriate.
So my daughter started playing volleyball this year, and she wanted to take a couple of her friends to a women's volleyball game in the old Finch Center. Well, still the Finch Center, but in the old,
Wow, is that where they're playing?
yeah. And it
For the
was
women practice.
slammed in there. It was unbelievably crowded in that facility for that game. And it was they were playing Temple, if I'm correct, I think they were playing Temple. Fun game, man. Awesome.
Volleyball's a good sport. I love watching volleyball in the Summer Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even talking beach volleyball is great. I just meant straight up volleyball.
Sure.
All right, Teach, you got anything else?
No.
Let's get this all day.
Yeah.
It didn't last all day, that's
Did
for
not.
sure.
We kind of flew through it. I ain't going to lie. I got a drop left. It was good. I liked it. I'm sure that it's not going to be Trey's favorite, maybe, just because I like it. But I think the can is good. It's got the MEM piping from like the Grizz logo, if you know what I'm talking about, at the top. I like the color scheme of it. And
Wow, I'm just now realizing that is a vehicle.
yeah, dude, that's
It wraps around too much around the can. It's a little large.
musician Isaac Hayes. That's his Cadillac, the Eldorado.
Really?
Yeah.
That is currently located at Stax Records.
You notice the hazy IPA?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says Eldorado. I'm pretty because he had like this.
No, yeah, you're right. Look,
Cadillac.
it's got a
with fat
little
gold rim on or gold thing on it.
it's got a little hop right there
Yeah,
on the hood crown.
I like it. I think it's a good can. I know you said
This is
it
a
wrapped
good
a little.
can.
A little
No, I'm
little
just
far
saying.
for you, but
I couldn't. Now I got to hold it far back until it's a vehicle. Got the pyramid back there. It's a good can. I'm going up there. This might be one of the better ones we've seen.
definitely one of the better ones we've seen.
You got records out there in the river.
There's also a dolphin in the corner. I'm not really sure what's going
I
on.
saw that a minute ago. I didn't really know if it's wearing a crown. I didn't know if you maybe had some insight on what that was.
I don't know what that is.
Tunkified. You see that?
Tunkified? Is that what that says?
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
TOONKIFIED.
Good can for me. I'm gonna be probably a little too
Okay,
high
let's
up.
do this. Say it on 3.
Or is
One.
this like 1, 2,
Your
3,
rating.
shoot?
Yes. No. Just 1, 2, 3, and then your rating.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 8.1.
8.4.
We were both in the 8s, though. That's high.
Yeah. It's definitely a good can. There's just a lot going on, and they used a lot of good artwork in there.
It's very on brand Memphis theme.
So much. I like the beer. I don't know how you felt about it.
No, it was great. The first sip, like I said, burned a little bit. I mean, that could again just be the sensitivity that's occurring with the diesel water in Germantown that we've been consuming. Chemical burn. But
bonus points for being a pint for me now. That's just like a new standard.
Yeah, we got to get
Point
pints from
bumping
now on. I mean, if this had been a 12er, it had been gone in the first segment.
Yeah, we have only talked about who's here for the DR.
Yeah,
I got to end the episode now. No beer. Maybe we do that. Maybe we start doing 2 beers for them.
I think this was good. I could probably even do another one right now, and I think that takes the score up for me. I'm going 7-8.
Okay, that's good. It's 5.5%, so not like the most, not the highest percentage we've ever done, especially for a pint. But I think I like that because I got a long way to drive home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, it's good. I don't want to match the beer can. I'm gonna say it's probably like an 8.3. I could definitely have multiple of these. Like I really liked it. And I'm sure it'd been
That's
much better
there.
if it were colder. Like if it would fit in this
Yeah,
fridge.
it wouldn't even fit in the fridge there.
So you get, if a little colder, I'm sure it's probably pretty good.
Too big.
I recommend this Beale Street Brewing. Memphis all day or day.
I don't know that we've had a bad Beale Street Brewing
I
beer.
don't think we have, actually.
They've all been good to us. Where's the beer bracket at, TJ?
I'm waiting on Ghost River. I emailed them again. Still nothing. I'm starting to think they've
I think you just need to drive up to the headquarters.
I need to go up there and get it. I know.
Just get up there to the brewery.
I know, man. I know.
Get into somebody's office and get with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'll get it. By the next time, I'll have some answers, to say the least. I think I know what they are for Ghost River, so it's more so just
If not,
formality
if
at
they
this
won't
point.
respond, you're just going to have to do it on your own. The people need it.
That's true. I think it's a good way to segue right into the football season. Just figure out what's the best beer.
The best beer to tailgate on Tiger Lane with.
Exactly.
Memphis edition.
It makes perfect sense to me. Anything else?
No.
All right.
If you're on YouTube, subscribe, like, check out bluffcitymedia.co, all the other shows we got on the Bluff, the Anthony Sane Show, the Grizzly Bear Blues. Join the Discord. A lot of information flying around, especially now that
It's hot.
the off season these days, the transfer portal, all sorts of stuff. Penny working until that school year starts. You never know what you'll find out. So get in there. Subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify. Come back next week with the cold beer. Stay for the hot takes. Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Like and subscribe at Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports.